Hello everyone, my name is Daniela Verduga. Today I will presenting on the topic of plagiarism and academic integrity based on the content of study units 2 and 3. Before we begin, here is my ID. Well, the objective of this presentation is to understand what plagiarism is, its types, and how the current use of APA 7 edition guidelines help us maintain academic honesty. Uh, 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 uh. To begin, let's define plagiarism. In my own words, plagiarism is the act of taking someone's own ideas, words, or intellectual work and presenting them as our own without giving proper credit. It doesn't matter if it's done with intention to deceive or through carelessness in forgetting to cite. In both cases, it is a form of intellectual theft that violates basic principles of students' ethics. Academic honesty is upheld throughout in text citations. Citing is fundamental for three reasons. First, it gives due credit to the original authors for their work. Second, it allows readers to trace the sources to verify the information. And third, it demonstrates that our work is the product of rigorous research, clearly distinguishing our ideas from those of others. There are several forms of plagiarism that we must avoid. Direct plagiarism occurs when we copy words for word without using quotation marks. Multi-plagiarism happens when we take phrases from a source and mix them with our own without proper situation. There is even self-plagiarism, which is recycling our own previous work without permission. The only way to prevent all this type is by mastering citation standards and using information ethically. According to APA 7 edition guidelines, there are two key formats. For paraphrasing, where we explain the idea in our own words, we only need the author's last name and the year. For short direct quotations, and in fewer than 40 words, we must use quotation marks and include, in addition to the author's name year, the page number or a specific paragraph. Well, now let's look at the difference. In the incorrect example, the phrase appears alone, leading the reader to believe it's my idea. Well, this is plagiarism. In the correct example, I use the same idea but attribute to Bayovsky, including the year and page number. This maintains academic integrity and strengthens my argument. For this exercise, I have selected a short excerpt from an article by Perez 2023 on technology. The original text reads, artificial intelligence should be seen as a replacement for human creativity, but as a tool that amplifies our analytical capabilities. I will now apply citation techniques for this text. Here's my paraphrase. I have rewritten the original idea, changing the structure and vocabulary to explain it in my own voice. As you can see, I included the narrative quote Perez 2023 at the beginning to properly attribute the idea without needing quotation marks. Okay. In this case, I opted for a dated quote because I wanted to highlight the author's exact definition. I placed the extra phrase in quotation marks and added parentheses at the end with the author's last name, the year, and very importantly, the page number, that in this case is 10, complete with APA guidelines for direct quotations. Reflecting on both techniques, paraphrasing is generally preferable because it demonstrates that I have processed and understood the information. Direct quotation should be used sparingly, uh, reserving it for when the author's says words are detailed or highly impactful. Good academic work balances both, but prioritizes the student's own voice through paraphrasing. In conclusion, preventing plagiarism requires a change in mindset and better study habits. Plagiarism often stems from disorganization or lack of time, not just malicious intent. Therefore, prevention begins with meticulous note taking, clearly distinguishing from the outset which ideas are our own and which come from external sources. It is vital to learn how to use bibliographic management software to keep track of where we obtain the information. Furthermore, we should prioritize paraphrasing over copying and pasting, as this process has to understand the content. Well, that's all. Thank you so much.